All right, y'all, we live. What's up to everybody out there? How y'all feeling today? All right, y'all, we live. Just want to make sure I got the sound right. To everybody, y'all feeling today? All right, y'all, we live. Just want to make sure I got the sound right. To everybody, y'all feeling today? Guess I'm going to cut that. All right, so just making sure I get everything right. How y'all feeling out there? We in the building, y'all. Crazy week. Crazy week. So I don't know if you. First of all, everybody look nice in their Halloween outfits. I'm taking a look at them through Facebook. Y'all look real nice. Y'all did y'all thing. I hope everybody seen me in my superhero costume doing my thing. So you know what I'm saying. I just want to have a little fun with it, jump in and have some fun too as well. So that's what's up. We are on a few different platforms. We on YouTube, we are on Instagram, and we on Facebook. So yo, we doing the damn thing. And it's gonna be on TikTok as well. So just spreading the love all the way around. That's how we do it. So to the lead story of the day. I don't know if y'all been under rock, but rapper Lil Durk just got arrested. This happened last, I believe, Sunday. Sunday, no, around Tuesday. Around Tuesday, it happened. Um, and so it's almost been a week. So it's coming up about a week because they had the concert last Saturday. Last Sunday. He got Saturday. He got arrested like Sunday, Monday of last week, early part of last week. So it's coming up on a week. And I know some people are probably a little sketchy on details. Some people probably don't even tap in and not really concerned about what's going on. But if you don't know who Lil Durk is a drill rapper from Chicago. And I don't know if y'all remember how Chicago was like before the pandemic, but Chicago was bad. Chicago was really bad. A lot of it had to do with these young rappers with these mixies, these young rappers with these mixies, and people be like, they ask me like, how do you know? Like, if you ask me like, how do I know? Like, I'm a DJ, and granted, Chicago has a lot of talent. There's a lot of artists who came from Chicago who's talented, who still R. Kelly, um, Kanye West, Common, like all of these rappers are Twister, like they still relevant in the game. So Chicago has talent, but the younger talent came up with this more than hardcore rap. They came up with this thing called drill rap, and I was doing some research on drill rap maybe like a year or two. I think I did a podcast about it. I'm gonna pull it back up. And with drill, the industry, the way the industry is they want hardcore because they know hardcore sales. They know hardcore music sales like NWA that sold really well. But with this new generation, they don't want studio rappers no more. That to them, that's played out. They don't want studio. These new young rappers, they think that they don't want studio. You got to understand. Like I was telling my friend the other day, like Ice Cube was in school getting good grades. All these guys, that wasn't their lifestyle. They kind of portrayed that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But because of what they were portraying, there's a lot of violence that came out of that NWA era. A lot of violence. So with this, and you guys can leave your comments, leave your questions. I'm getting to a point, so just follow me. I'm gonna get there. I'm getting to a point. So just follow me. So, but these new artists, they want that realness, which meaning when I talk about killing somebody, I'm actually doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like rap, some of this rap has always been there's been a realness to it. I don't know if y'all remember like Snoop Dogg, he had he got signed and he had to beat a murder rap. Murder was the case. He made a whole song about it, right? Murder was the case. Snoop Dogg had actually beat a murder rap because he supposedly shot somebody, but got off on technicality. Remember how he was like this in the courtroom? He was like, and then him and Tupac did a song about it. The Gangster Party, two of America's Most Wanted. That's when Snoop Dogg got off on a murder rap. He shot somebody. He actually, pow somebody. I guess I gotta say that on YouTube. He actually pow somebody. So, these new rappers though, like that's their lifestyle. Like my boy get killed, I'm gonna kill yo guy. So I got this video here, and we're gonna watch it, and then we'll come back and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk in between, and it kind of talks about what actually is going on right now. And I want y'all to leave your comments. This is Johnny Live with Johnny. We're just gonna get right into it. No intro today. Here we go.
Is behind bars after a shocking arrest, as authorities accuse him of being connected to an alleged murder for hire plot. Chicago rapper Durk Banks, better known by his stage name Lil Durk, was arrested yesterday after allegedly attempting to flee the country, and at this time he's being held in a Broward County jail in Florida, awaiting transfer to the U.S. Marshals. According to the FBI affidavit, the Grammy Award-winning rapper is charged with conspiracy to commit murder for hire. His arrest comes on the same day as federal prosecutors announced in California the charges of 5 other men for the attempted murder of Georgia rapper Quando Rondo, whose real name is Taquan Bowman. Prosecutors say those 5 men all have ties to Chicago gangs and all targeted the Georgia rapper in retaliation for the murder of Chicago rapper King Von. According to prosecutors, all 5.
Now, this guy right here, Little Von, was responsible for doing a lot of the storytelling rap. And he did a lot of good songs. I know a song that I play called something story, true story or something like that. If you know the song, let me know. But he got a song called Story, and he basically talking about like the whole story, like how he killing somebody or how he doing a robbery or something like that. But it's very graphic, and I think Durk raps on it too.
5 men who include Kevon London Grant, a.k.a. Vonnie, Asa Houston, a.k.a. Boogie, David Brian Lindsay, a.k.a. Brown Eyes, Keith Jones, a.k.a. Flocka, and DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, a.k.a. Didi. They all face charges including conspiracy to commit murder for hire, committing murder for hire involving death, and use of a machine gun in a violent crime resulting in death. And the most serious charge carries up to the death penalty if convicted. According to prosecutors, all 5 men have ties to Lil Durk's hip-hop group Only the Family, also known as OTF. OTF was founded by Lil Durk.
And I'm not tying Lil Durk to it. I'm not saying, because of course you're innocent to proven guilty. But whoever wanted these guys dead, like they wanted them dead, like they was using actual machine guns and stuff like that, and that takes it on to a different level when you using machine guns to execute somebody. Like that's kind of how the lifestyle like they live. Like it's sad, and I wish somebody would have got to Durk. And I think I heard a lot of rappers did try to talk to Durk, but I wish somebody would have got to Durk and just told him to chill and think about what you're doing.
More than a decade ago. And according to the FBI, OTF members engage in violence, including murder and assault, at the direction of Lil Durk and to maintain their status in OTF. King Von, whose real name was Davon Bennett, was also a part of OTF and frequently collaborated with and was a longtime friend of Lil Durk. King Von was shot and killed in November of 2020 outside a nightclub in Atlanta. He was killed in the early morning hours of November 6 during an argument between 2 groups that escalated into gunfire. And he was fatally shot by Quando's associate Lil Tim after the argument. The indictment doesn't name Davon Bennett, a.k.a. King Von. Instead, the charging documents state a high-ranking OTF member described by the initials.
These guys had songs that are so dope. Like, they still play them in the club till today. And the club turns up. Like, these guys are actually talented. The the wordplay and how they ride to the beat. But the thing about it is, if you stop and you take a listen to what they actually saying, it's a lot of violence in their music. It's a lot of violence. It's a lot of disrespect to females. And I'm just saying that as an outsider looking in. Like, I'm not trying to knock what they do. Like, if that's music and that's what people want to hear, that's what people want to hear. But I'm just simply pointing it out. There you could say that I'm pointing it out. There is a lot of violence. Even like in their videos, you they videos are a lot of guns, and we're pointing guns at the video, and we doing this and we doing that, like to a point where, like, if you're a young rapper and you're not pointing guns at videos, or you're not trying to talk about killing somebody, like, your music is not gonna pop today. That's what the industry wants. They don't want a Common Sense or a Twister singing love songs, or they don't want none of that R&B shit. The industry right now strictly want us talking about killing each other. The industry right now, he said, Do Trap said he played a role. Right. The industry right now, they want us talking about fucking raw, uh, killing each other, money, and just a few, and drugs, and getting drunk. That's all. That's it. That's all the industry really want from us right now. They not trying to sign nobody else. None of that, and that's sad. Because we
DB
feeding into
got
it.
into a
So let's take
physical
a listen.
altercation with someone referred to as TB, and the circumstances surrounding that incident mirror King Von's murder. The indictment says after DB's death, co-conspirator 1 made clear in coded language that they would pay a bounty or monetary reward to anyone who took part in killing TB for his role in DB's murder. That co-conspirator is allegedly Lil Durk, who authorities say made it known he would pay a bounty to anyone who killed Quando Rondo. According to the court documents, the men used an OTF-associated credit card to buy plane tickets to LA in August of 2022 to search for TB, who is allegedly Quando Rondo,
Right.
and using funds provided by Lil Durk. Durk allegedly texted, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." And prosecutor.
So, you said read the contract, right? Right. That's what they was talking about, the contract, right? He played a role. Are you saying that Lil Durk played a role? Um, because they arrested 5 guys. So I guess these 5 guys are saying that, and I'm just going off of what I've heard so far. These 5 guys basically pointing the finger at Lil Durk Vaughn. Oh wow! Tell us what you mean. Just type it out, his brother. Because you throwing out stuff. Just his brother. Just tell us, like what you mean. But like I was saying, 5 guys got arrested and basically said that the head of OTF, only the family, was offering them money to take out the guy who supposedly killed Vaughn. But instead of taking out the guy who killed Vaughn, they killed his cousin. And the reason why people know this stuff is because this stuff was caught on camera. Vaughn's shooting was caught on camera, and dude cousin was caught on camera. They say he was screaming or something like that. So I don't know if Vaughn even had a chance to do any of that, but they said his cousin was screaming. I mean, I probably would be too. Like, you're not even. That's not even concerning you. That's your cousin, and then you're gonna die that type of death of your cousin. And that's what I'm telling y'all. Like, this whole drill movement was really rough. And I know Lil Durk, he was there's some things about him changing that I questioned too. But he was trying to make a change, but he did a lot. That's all I'm saying about that.
Claim when there, Kevon Grant booked a hotel room for the men to stay at and provided the others with firearms. Grant allegedly procured cars, ski masks, and firearms that were used to find, track, and kill TB.
Damn,
According to the FBI, there is video evidence that Durk was staying at the house in the San Fernando Valley that day. A lot of the stories that we cover here at Law and Crime are very tough to tell.
Yeah, and also
part of the reason we're able to...
one of Von's guys, one of his closest associates, was supposedly recording them. He was setting them up for like 2 years. He had been wearing a necklace, a gold necklace or some type of necklace, and he was recording Von the whole time. So, I mean, you had to be secretly recorded.
Keep bringing you
that's
these types
one thing,
of
because
stories
like especially if you're around your guy,
so I want to
think
take a
about
moment
that.
to think Upside for
If you
sponsoring this story. If you're wondering what's Upside, well, it's a free app that gets you...
Think about that. If you around your people and you just talking, you not gonna watch what you say. You're just gonna say what comes to your mind because you don't think somebody recording you. So therefore, you're gonna talk how you would talk to anybody, that you close with, that you're gonna tell some of your deepest secrets sometimes, or you're gonna tell how y'all moving sometimes and how y'all did illegal stuff to get certain things done. Maybe you're gonna talk about all of that. So y'all have to understand, like they're gonna take a lot of that Chicago rap down because now they know the ins and outs. OTF was like I'm hearing that they was like one of the biggest things in Chicago. But here I'm gonna see if I can start it from right here.
Conspirators use facilities of interstate and foreign commerce, such as planes, cars, cell phones, and the internet, with intent that the murder of TB be committed. After the shooting, according to the indictment, the men went to a nearby burger spot to discuss payment. Then on the same day, the credit card was used to purchase tickets for Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, Asa Houston, DeAndre Wilson, and co-conspirator 2 to travel back to Chicago. Lil Durk wasn't named in the charging documents against Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston. But according to the indictment, the defendants were offered money and lucrative music opportunities with OTF for the murder of Quando Rondo. Prior to Lil Durk's arrest, the Chicago rapper was being sued by the mother of Chicago drill rapper FBG Duck. FBG Duck was murdered in 2020, and his death led to several convictions in a federal conspiracy trial last January. But his
See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all have to understand, like this drill rap, and we as consumers, we as fans, we listen to it, and we, that was hot. Oh, that was hot.
Mother sued Lil Durk, OTF, and King Von's estate, alleging they were all involved in the shooting as well. According to the suit,
to us, like, it's hot. Oh, that's hot. But you have to understand, like, they really living that life. And we see it because we see rappers get killed. We're like, huh? How he get killed? He was like a nice young man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you older, like he wasn't into nothing. Like Lil Durk looked innocent. But man, these guys got passed. Like, and I'm not trying to knock him for what he do. Like in Chicago, like you have some time. To me, it's like in Chicago at that period in time, you had to probably be tough to even survive. It's like LA was. Like, a lot of people probably didn't even want to be in gangs. I'm not excusing what he did or may have done, but sometimes you might not even want to be in a gang. But because of your surroundings, how you were raised, and the things that you get into, then that might be something that you have to do. You might have to resort to being in a gang to feel like you included. I wasn't even from a big city, but I felt like sometimes I needed a gang to be around me, or at least be associated with a gang because of your surroundings in your environment. So that was Chicago. So let's listen.
Used to purchase tickets for Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, Asa Houston, DeAndre Wilson, and co-conspirator 2 to travel back to Chicago. Lil Durk wasn't named in the charging documents against Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston. But according to the indictment, the defendants were offered money and lucrative music opportunities with OTF for the murder of Quando Rondo. Prior to Lil Durk's arrest, the Chicago rapper was being sued by the mother of Chicago drill rapper FBG Duck. FBG Duck was murdered in 2020, and his death led to several convictions in a federal conspiracy trial last January. But his mother sued Lil
That's
Durk,
crazy.
OTF, and King Von's estate, alleging they were all involved in the shooting as well. According to the suit, OTF operates as a criminal enterprise. After Grant Jones, Lindsey Wilson, and Houston were arrested Thursday, the FBI says Durk booked 2 flights from South Florida airports, one to Dubai and one to Switzerland. He then reportedly booked a flight to Italy, but was arrested in Miami before he could board that flight. Lil Durk and the other defendants are being held pending their transfer back to LA. I want to bring on now Detective Eric Barnes to break down this case even further. Eric, thank you so much for joining me today. You know, Lil Durk is a really popular rapper, but what's your
See,
reaction?
he was trying to do kind of what Diddy did and send a plane to throw the FBI off. But so he sent 2 planes to different places, one to Dubai and one to Switzerland. So the cops would be like, "Oh, okay. Well, he thought the cops would be. He really wasted his money because he thought the cops were gonna just follow those 2 planes and he would throw them off, and then he would just bounce out somewhere else." And that's kind of like what I said, like with his change and stuff like that, and his uh, going to like Muslim and stuff like that. I think he was like preparing to live that type of life. If anything ever happened, then he was prepared to just jump and go somewhere else and just don't come back. Like he really tried to lead a country, and that is what's going to have him being held without bond, is because he's going to lead. They know he could try to lead the country, and this is not looking good. That's what I'm saying. It's just not looking good. Okay, we're gonna play the rest, and
To
then
his
I'm gonna start.
arrest and his alleged connection to this murder for
Y'all
hire
can leave your
plot of
comments.
Georgia rapper Quando Rondo.
Well, it's a very interesting case. I've been following it for some time now, but it's very representative of things that are going on within the hip hop community these days. The one foot in the studio, one foot in the streets.
And talk to me a little bit about retaliation within gang culture, maybe even hip hop culture as well, too, that we can even trace back these events in particular, kind of in a way, starting from King Von's death in Georgia in 2020, and 2 years later, Quando Rondo's attempted murder, where his cousin was actually killed during this ambush. What is your kind of reaction to just this whole web and trail that has been going on essentially since 2020, even probably prior to that, too?
Well, one of the things that's been popular with hip hop artists is to maintain the same group of friends that they had since they were kids, maintaining that loyalty, not changing up, and becoming a new person because you have fame. And so, in keeping these alliances, sometimes there's beef that follows from the streets into rap, and like I said, these guys live, day to day, and their alliances also live that same lifestyle.
And, reading through this indictment, there appears to be this really heavy level of planning to allegedly carry out this murder. Plane tickets were bought, cars were rented, ski masks and firearms were bought. Talk to me a little bit about the sophistication you may have noticed within the planning and these allegations.
Well, one of the things that you have to the hurdles, so to say, that you have to get over in this case is just the geographic difficulties going from Chicago to California to commit this offense. And so there's only a couple ways you can get there. Either you can drive or you can fly. And obviously the advantage of flying gives you more of a time advantage. You can get there faster, but you also leave an electronic footprint. And that's what it seems like law enforcement was able to pick up on, was the electronic footprints that were left from purchasing the tickets. Now, when you fly, you also have to have transportation on the ground. So you have rental cars. And if you're there for an extended period of time, that also leads to maybe a hotel stay.
As we talk about this level of planning, it also appears there was also this element of not so great planning if you didn't want to be caught. And some of the 5 defendants actually used their real names, their birth dates, and photo IDs to book this travel. And then one of the co-conspirators actually texted another co-conspirator saying, don't book no flights under no names involved with me." What's your reaction to kind of just doing this allegedly and using your real name, your real ID, but also kind of wanting to keep this on the down low as well too, of not wanting to get caught?
Well, I think that when I read over that, I was kind of surprised by that, with how you know unhidden that was. But I think also it plays to the element of what their motivation was. And it seemed that as there was some discussion of payment, and so sometimes individuals are so intrigued by being able to get their hands on whatever this payment is, that they overlook small details, and leaving your name on a receipt or on a reservation is one of those things that they missed.
When we see kind of these types of cases, a lot of times, I think sometimes the defendants are allegedly always kind of wanting one specific target. But then there are some cases where someone else is hurt or killed, kind of in this focus of retaliation. What are your thoughts given that Quando Rondo's cousin was actually killed when the murder was allegedly plotted for him?
I think it's always unfortunate that innocent people get caught in the line of fire. It's something that we deal with often within street violence, but also think within the streets, there's also a mentality when there's a retaliation and gang culture that if you get caught riding with someone that I have beef with, then it just kind of it's the rules of the streets. Like, you put yourself in that situation, and now you have to unfortunately read the circumstances of it.
And there's also been rumors circulating online that there might have been an informant or even a snitch within OTF that may have revealed more to the feds. Do you think that's at all possible in this case, that they needed an informant on the inside to kind of give a scoop into kind of how everything was planned out and kind of how everything kind of came to fruition?
Well, I know that there was very detailed information, and it definitely indicates that the investigators did a great job digging up surveillance footage and being able to uncover some of the intimate details. I don't know if there was an informant necessarily, but it seems that they do have some very personal details in their indictment.
And given if there was possibly an informant, kind of how do they all play a role into this case? Because again, within the culture, a lot of times there is a no snitching policy. But what are your thoughts on whether or not there might have been an informant and kind of how that may have all came into this as well too?
Well, the no snitching thing is very huge in the street and within the hip hop culture. But one thing that within the law enforcement community, when someone is looking at a significant sentence, which I think murder for hire either carries in some sort of situations, death penalty, and also life in prison. It's every man for himself at that moment. And so the old cliche of the first one to talk gets the best deal, normally that weighs very heavily in these cases.
Some of the defendants, in addition to being offered money, were also promised lucrative music opportunities if they carried out this murder. And I know we've kind of been having a discussion about, how rap culture kind of bleeds into gang culture. But what's your reaction to kind of this lucrative opportunity given they carry out this bounty?
Well, it's the American dream of wanting to be able to create a better opportunity for yourself and your family. And unfortunately, a lot of individuals have, the dream of making it in the rap business, and they're just not given the opportunity. So that is something that is going to be very alluring to a lot of individuals, because they not only want to be able to have the rap contract, but also the rap lifestyle. And some people are willing to do whatever it takes to get that.
And sometimes when we see these cases, especially gang cases that are also kind of double as like hip hop cases, YNW Melly, this case with Lil Durk, even YSL, I can't help but notice just how young some of the defendants are and some of the alleged activities that they're being accused of doing. They're so young, in their 20s, probably started maybe when they were teenagers. But what are your thoughts on just how young some of these defendants are when they're kind of coming up, like you had just mentioned, wanting this American dream, but then at the same time having this kind of tie to the street culture where maybe they don't see the actual consequences of what could happen. Either they go to jail or they may end up dead on the street. What are your thoughts on just that whole layer and aspect of it?
Well, I think one of the things that weighs heavily on the influence, is the fact that, a guy that you may have grown up with, seen around the neighborhood, now he has his lucrative rap contract and is driving, foreign cars and living in expensive houses and traveling, all across the country. They almost become larger than life. And so when you have a young individual that maybe hasn't had the best role models in life, what they're able to see this individual achieve is going to be larger than any kind of verbal warning that someone can tell them. They're going to take their word as being, good. If I can carry out what is being asked of me, then maybe I can live this lifestyle as well. And I think that that reality weighs heavier than any consequence that you can think of.
And as someone who is a detective who works with street gangs, kind of what are you hearing from the inside that you'd be willing to talk about on camera as far as, maybe just what the motivation is to kind of continue to be a part of this lifestyle?
Well, obviously the what everyone is doing right now across social media as well as the streets and within the street culture is they're kind of unpacking this indictment. They're trying to breaking it down line by line, trying to piece things together, figure out if there is an informant, also figuring out if this was something that was carried out on behalf of King Von, and just connecting the dots on, their from their levels. But I think that what factors into that is the theory that nobody plans to get caught. The plan is we're going to do it, we're going to get away with it, and we're looking 100 yards down the field instead of seeing what's going on right now. And the factor of getting caught now being named in a federal indictment, that part is not really thought of too heavily because, again, nobody factors in that I am going to get caught for this.
And kind of going back to the Lil Durk aspect of it as well, too, he was, again, a very popular rap artist. He had a lot of popular songs, and a lot of fans did look up to him. But it seems, though, as we don't know at this particular point, but it seems, though, a lot of people may be alleging he's kind of the kingpin in a way of the OTF, and that he is someone who carries out these plots, essentially, kind of running a criminal enterprise. What are your thoughts on just kind of how people allege these popular rap artists are these kingpins in a way of criminal street gangs?
Well, I think with this case, it's gonna be very interesting in how it plays out. But we're gonna really get into the basics of rap being entertainment or rappers really living what they rap about. And I think there's definitely something that's a hurdle the investigators are gonna have to get over, with just proving that this little Dirk's role in OTF wasn't merely entertainment; that he actually had a role within the street culture of OTF.
And do you see any other hurdles that investigators may come to find when they're kind of going through this case?
Well, anytime that you're dealing with multiple people with inside, in an indictment, co-conspirators, what's people's roles kind of change, and then there's money as well involved with some of the people that were discussed in this case. So it's also heavily influenced by the street life and culture, gang life and culture. And so what they have today may change, and hopefully on the investigators end, what you see in that indictment would only kind of snowball and grow larger. Maybe they're able to develop more evidence and convert some of these co-conspirators into witnesses for the government.
All right, Detective Eric Barnes, I appreciate so much your insight into this case. Before we sign you off, is there anything else you'd like to add about just where the case goes from here?
No, I think from what we see in this indictment, that the investigators did a very solid job investigating this case, and kudos to them.
All right, Detective Eric Barnes, again, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
According to reports, Jones and Houston have a scheduled hearing in Chicago on Monday. However, Grant, Wilson, and Lindsay have reportedly waived their right to a hearing and will instead be sent to Los Angeles. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Milner.
All right, y'all. We're gonna end it with that. Well, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tapping in. We're gonna play more later. All right. This is live with Johnny. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Peace. We out.